In the past 8 days, the Royals have faced 3 Cy Young Award winners. All they have done is score 22 runs in fewer than 23 innings. They will face a 2-time Cy Young winner tonight on Fox Sports Kansas City. Royals baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. It's game 2 tonight with the Dodgers. Last night the Royals had one of their best all-around games of the year, taking game 1 5-3. Hi everyone, welcome back to the ballpark with Rex Hudler. I'm Ryan Lefevre, and Joel Goldberg will be joining us after the break. Second straight night, Hud, we should have a great pitching matchup. Most of the attention has been on the Dodgers starting pitcher in the first 2 games, and the Royals will have their hands full against Clayton Kershaw. But the Dodgers could have their hands full facing Danny Duffy.
No question about it, Rhino. And these guys have faced Cy Young Award winners recently, and including last night in Greinke. They don't care about names on backs. All they care about is looking in that nitro zone up there in the hitting zone. If the ball's in it, don't miss it. And Duffy, he's been marvelous. It's been fun to watch.
And let's look at the 2 starters over their last 4 starts. Now, Kershaw's coming off a no-hitter, but still 4-0 over his last 4 with a 1.24 ERA, big strikeouts. But Danny Duffy has just a 1.75 ERA in his last 4 starts, 23 strikeouts and only 6 walks. But you can understand why the focus will be on Clayton Kershaw, a 15 strikeout no-hitter against the Colorado Rockies.
No question about it. They're extremely rare. This guy, look at that curveball from the sky. He's got an unorthodox delivery. He's funky, and he's got that mojo going, coming off that no-hitter. But still, the Royals could care less about what all this pomp and circumstance. Just get the job done against Kershaw.
So they need the bats tonight. Lorenzo Cain, Salvador Perez, and Alcides Escobar have been the Royals' best hitters this month, and the Royals have the best record in the major leagues in June.
Rewind takes a look at last night. Zach Greinke, the third straight Cy Young Award winner that has been roughed up by the Royals. They got him last night for 5 runs after last week tagging Justin Verlander for 7 and Max Scherzer for 10. And the former Royal handed the loss here at Kauffman Stadium last night. Welcome back to the K. Joel Goldberg out by the Royals bullpen. Danny Duffy has just finished warming up, and this will be a battle of 2 young left-handers. One that is already well on his way, and the other that is just starting to find his. As for Kershaw, 26 years old, and he's coming off of that no-hitter the guys talked about. 107 pitches in a no-hitter and 15 strikeouts. Now, Duffy's coming off of a very impressive performance, too. 7 innings and 2 runs and 101 pitches. And the Southern California native gets a chance tonight to go up against his childhood team.
That'll be cool for people to watch back home, but in this clubhouse, we're not really thinking about anything, and obviously I'm not. I'm just going to go out there and get the job done, do the best that I can to do that. So, you know, I grew up a huge Dodger fan, but now I'm a huge Royal fan, so it'll be a lot of fun to get out there and just do what I do and build on my last start.
He traded in Dodger blue for Royal blue, and he's been awfully good. 2-1 with a 1.75 in his last 4 starts. Walking in clean-shaven and ready to go. First pitch is coming up next.
Baseball is brought to you by Chevrolet. Come in and visit the Kansas City area Chevy dealers and make your move to Chevrolet today. By the Missouri Lottery, try the new Lucky Sevens playbook. And by AT&T, mobilizing your world. Royals have taken game 1 from the Dodgers 5-3. And when Danny Duffy pitched on Thursday at Detroit, Brad Ausmus didn't have one single left-hand batter in the lineup. Don Mattingly tonight against Danny Duffy, one left-hand batter in the lineup, first baseman Adrian Gonzalez.
Yeah, I'm not sure why you would. He's got the lowest mark in the major leagues against lefties at .079. Now, there's only one player on that lineup, that's ever faced Duffy. That's Gonzalez. He's 2 for 5. So it's going to be a new look for these Dodgers, and the Dodgers are hitting .227 against lefties and a 12-8 record against left-handed starters.
Well, a big thrill for Danny Duffy. He's our Kia starting pitcher for tonight. He's been on quite a roll over his last 4 starts, and a personal thrill for him tonight, as he knows a lot of friends and family will be watching back in Southern California on the Dodger broadcast, because Danny grew up a big Dodgers fan.
Yeah, and he's been really good. I mean, he has turned into the Danny Duffy that the Royals organization always believed he could do and become, because he's able to harness that tremendous energy. He's a very good competitor, and he's got 3 exceptional pitches that we've been seeing from him. Real nice fastball from 90 to 95. He's got a slurvy breaking ball that he will need to bring in the outside and the back door against the righties. He's got a changeup that he'll mix in occasionally, but the fact that he's been able to alter his fastball and turn that into 2 or 3 different pitches has been one of the things that's been so special about him. Defending, we're going to highlight Duffy. He's got 3 pickoffs this year. He's got an excellent step-off move, and he does well holding the runners down, and he'll need to, because the Dodgers are best in Major League Baseball in steals.
Here's our umpiring crew for tonight. Hunter Wendelstedt behind the plate. We have 2 sons of Major League umpires. Hunter Wendelstedt's father, Harry, was a National League umpire for a long time. And Mike DeMuro at second base, his father, Lou, was an American League umpire for a long time, and they both wear their dad's numbers on their sleeves. Well, we'll try and describe this and not fall to pieces while doing so. This is Major Robert Sides of the Air Force. His son doesn't know that he is back from a tour of duty until now.
Been gone for a year.
So a big night. 2.
I thought a 10-day road trip was long.
Well, that just kind of why do they do that to us? Oh boy.
You know, after seeing something like that, really puts things in perspective. How about that red beard? Look at that. There's some color right there. Turner won a job out of spring training. He was a non-roster invitee to camp. He made this team. He's got tremendous experience. He's a valuable utility player. And he's been a road warrior. This year he's hitting .329 on the road with 2 homers. He's a nice guy to insert every so often against a lefty.
We saw him last year with the Mets. Part-time player with them, like he is with the Dodgers, and a big fan favorite in New York because of his clutch hitting. And we got a little glimpse of that last night as he came on as a pinch hitter in the 8th inning. Dodgers were down 5-0, and it looked like a lost game for them the way Jeremy Guthrie was pitching, but he got a pinch hit single and scored one of the 2 runs in the 8th inning that made it a game. And giving Danny Duffy a battle. Danny on Thursday at Detroit, he had a 23-pitch first inning, and normally when you say that, it sounds as though you were criticizing the pitcher. But he was throwing strikes. 10 of those were foul balls. That was 23 pitches to 4 batters.
Yeah, if this first at bat is any indication of what the Dodgers are bringing tonight, it's not going to be easy, as Turner just refuses to buckle, and neither does Duffy. Sometimes having a taxing first batter of the game like this can throw a pitcher off. Hopefully Duffy will try to execute a pitch here and use that defense. He's done a great job of changing speeds this year when he has to, and pitching to contact at times. Even though he's a high strikeout guy, he has that potential. And Turner, he just is up there getting free hacks left and right, making all redheads proud.
He is a Stanford product, and for a short time was a teammate of last night's winning pitcher, Jeremy Guthrie. Guthrie was drafted in 2002 out of Stanford, and Turner drafted in 2003.
Take your chances with his knee-high fastball.
Right center field, long run for Kane, and he missed it. Great effort. So Turner is rewarded for his long at bat. 11 pitches, and he ends up at third base with nobody out.
That might be the best at bat to open a game I've seen, outside of a homer. Look at that high flamingo leg hit. Duffy with a perfectly executed pitch. That ball was down and away, and Kane almost got to it. Never a lack of effort. And that charged the Dodgers dugout. That got them all fired up. Great way to start for the Dodgers for sure. 11 pitches, one with a triple, nobody out. So Ned Yost going to bring his infielders in early.
Runs will be at a premium tonight, to say the least. And Matt Kemp have to play with a chance to put the Dodgers in front right away, and he is their hottest hitter. He has an 11-game hitting streak after going 1 for 4 last night.
He's hitting .395 during that time. Just hitting .210 against lefties this year, though.
One and one. And he has been driving in runs during his hitting streak. 10 RBIs in those 11 games. Two and one.
Hunter Wendelstedt been calling balls and strikes in his 16th year now. He's a veteran. You talked about him, his father, Harry. He made a call yesterday at first base, and it reminded me of his dad. Same mannerisms.
Backhanded by Escobar. That'll hold Turner at third. One down.
Ball was elevated too. He just stayed on top of it. That's a perfect pitch for him to try to get in the air. And here's a rare visit from Ned. I don't believe I've seen him make a visit in the first inning ever. Have you?
Not with a pitcher who has only given up 1 hit and has 1 out. We saw him make a trip in the first inning in Toronto to take a starter out of a game.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Not in a situation like this. Now Puig is at the plate, and Gonzalez is on deck, and we were telling you that Gonzalez is the only left-hand batter in the lineup, and Danny Duffy has just been chewing up and spitting out left-hand batters this year. They are just 3 out of 38 against Duffy. And Gonzalez is grounded into 6 double plays.
Yeah, and I'm sure that's what that was all about. Just a little early meeting saying, hey, look, you got the lefty on deck. He's grounded into 6 double plays this year. What do you want to do? He says, I want Puig, who's hitting .317 off of lefties.
And I guess this would be the Kershaw effect. When you're facing a guy as good as Kershaw is, just allowing a run in the first inning. It's different when you're going up a guy who pitched a no-hitter in his last start and struck out 15.
That's right.
Two and 0.
Puig, an extremely energetic baseball player. He's got energy. Tim Wallach, the bench coach for the Dodgers, said more energy than he's ever seen out of any player. And he said the quietest he is right in that batter's box. That's the quietest he is the whole day when he gets his plate appearances.
That's the 9th best mark in the National League, 341 with runners in scoring position. Two and 2.
Kind of like Duffy saying, you know, Ned, I appreciate you coming out, but let me take him. See if I can get him to swing out of the zone just like he did there. Puig's a free swinger. Duffy taking his time, maneuvering his way through, knowing all well that he's got to strand that runner somehow. Lorenzo Cain in center field is playing him to right center, leaving a big hole in left center.
And again, Turner will hold. Tough play, Valencia, and Puig is safe. The Royals will go to the phone immediately and see if Brian Knight, the first base umpire, got that call right. Don Wakamatsu on the phone, and the Royals are going to challenge.
Well, Ned Yost has been as hot as a firecracker in challenges this year, of being 13-6 in reviews. Let's see it firsthand. Oh, that's as close as we've seen all year, but to me it looks like the ball hit the leather a split second before his foot came down. Let's see this angle.
Tough to see there because Hosmer's leg blocks the view of Puig's foot.
Duffy on the mound, standing out there with his teammates looking at the scoreboard here, the beautiful board here at the K. He kind of looked like he pumped his fist after seeing that first replay, thinking that they might have gotten him. We'll see. Yep, I see him out there. They slowed it down so much.
That's where the call in the field is so important on a play like this, because as we've said before, if the umpires back in New York at the command center, if they don't see enough evidence one way or another, it defers back to the call in the field.
Puig explosive. Watching that ball the first 5 steps might have cost him a base hit there.
Brian Knight, the first base umpire, is on the left with the headset on, and Hunter Wendelstedt, the crew chief, is on the right. So the difference between first and third with 1 out and a runner at third and 2 down. And the call either stands or is confirmed.
Guess it wasn't clear and convincing evidence. That's about as close as we've seen all year there.
So the call stands. which means no clear and convincing evidence to confirm or overturn the call. So now the Royals hope for that ground ball double play from Adrian Gonzalez. Again, left-hand batters this year against Danny Duffy are 3 for 38.
Gonzalez, a 181 hitter with 1 homer against lefties this year.
Low 2-0. Turner tripled in an 11-pitch at bat. Duffy with a snap throw over to first base. With 1 out, Puig reached on the infield single. Puig had been 0 for 10.
That's when Duffy's able to get a guy when he's just trying to get his lead. He's kind of shuffling off like that, not stationary with his feet.
2-1.
Puig's got 7 stolen bases. He's also been caught 7 times.
Deflected by Duffy. They're going to have to hurry, and the Royals get an out at second base, and now the Dodgers are screaming. They're going to go to the phones.
Oh man, this first inning is a highly unusual inning. Duffy almost caught it on the fly. Would have been a double play. Escobar shovels it out of his glove, had a little bit of air on it, no touch of the base yet until he touches it with his hands. So Puig didn't slide directly into the base. He's watching the play ahead of him. His foot never touched the base until his hand got on there, so I think that's a great call. There it is.
So an RBI for Gonzalez to give the Dodgers a 1-0 lead. His 47th, and he's on for Scott Van Slyke. We just saw Scott's father, Andy, who was a 13-year major league outfielder and now coaching for the Seattle Mariners. Foul off the left field line. Nice attempt by the ball boy, trying to pick it with a backhand. 0-2.
Scott Van Slyke so far with the Dodgers this year is strictly a platoon player. He only faces left-handers, and he's doing pretty well. 308 with 6 homers. Duffy'd like to see a strikeout here. He's got really good power.
1-2.
Guthrie yesterday, with the help of the Dodger offense swinging early in the count, only had 23 pitches in the first 3 innings. And they're working Duffy here in this first.
2-2. Duffy closing in on 30 pitches in this inning.
Mark McGwire, hitting coach, has a little bit different philosophy facing Duffy, obviously, in game 2.
The bat goes spinning by Duffy as Hosmer fields the ground ball and puts an end to the inning. 5 come to the plate, but it takes 29 pitches for Danny to get out of the first inning, and now the Royals coming up against Clayton Kershaw with LA leading 1-0. Nothing lead into the bottom of the first inning, and Ned Yost makes very few changes, facing left-hander Clayton Kershaw.
Yep, Valencia's in there as expected against the lefty. Maxwell getting a call in right. No Dyson.
Royals production last night coming mostly from the 8, 9, and 1 hitters. They hope for a little something 1 through 9 against Clayton Kershaw, 26 years old, making his first start against the Royals and coming off his first major league no-hitter. That was Wednesday against the Rockies. 9 innings, no walks, 15 strikeouts. The most amazing number to me is 107 pitches with 15 strikeouts in 9 innings.
Yeah, no question. But also, you know, this guy, he's a very humble guy for the success he's had. Mel Rojas, for his career start at second base, as D. Gordon getting a rest off the lefty. So what the Royals are going to see is a 6'3", 225 pitcher that's really unorthodox. He has some pause in his delivery, 91 to 95 on his fastball. He's got a curve, slider, and a changeup, and all of them are quality pitches. He's going to mix them very well. Talking with his catcher Ellis before the game, I said, what makes him so special? He said because he has dominant stuff, number 1, his competitiveness, number 2, and he has great game management skills. So he says he knows when to pitch to contact and when not. So he's a very bright for 26. 2 Cy Young awards.
That'll land in the seats. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Kane was 2 for 4 with an RBI last night.
Besides all that, if any runners do get on, he's really good. He's got a good pickoff move. He slide steps on every pitch.
2-2.
He'll throw over. He can be slow home, and then he speeds it up. So he'll be a tough guy to try to get a hold of. But you know, they've faced some really good pitch in the last 9 games, and they've beaten 3 Cy Young Award winners during that time.
There's the slider, and Kershaw has his first strikeout. Well, every time a pitcher is coming off of a no-hitter, the name Johnny Vandermeer comes up. The only pitcher in Major League history to throw back-to-back no-hitters, and that was way back in 1938. And just to underline how long ago that was, Johnny Vandermeer, pitching for the Reds, beat the Boston Bees and the Brooklyn Dodgers.
How about that? The Bees.
Fouled away by Hosmer. No ball, or 1 ball, 1 strike.
Talked about how impressive the pitch count was in Kershaw's last outing. But for me, striking out 15, that was the 3rd highest total in a no-hitter ever. He's got stuff, no doubt. Just got to hunt out that mistake.
Well, no back-to-back no-hitters this time around, as Hosmer has a 1-out single. Chasing a pitch you normally wouldn't have a hitter chase, but he got it through the left side.
Well, we all know Eric likes the ball up, but this far up, wow, that's neck high. Way to stay on top of it in 93. Good for him. He needs that hit in the worst ways, and an 0 for 12 skid. That's unbelievable. He'll take it.
To third, Turner with the out at second, Rojas to first, and it's a 9-pitch inning for Kershaw. That's 20 fewer pitches than Duffy threw in the top of the first inning.
Salvador Perez, folks. He could be a perennial all-star, but we got to make sure of that. He went last year. Love to see him in there this year. And no doubt is he deserving. Power, signal calling ability, blocking the ball, throwing runners out. There's none better. Vote him in, folks.
And in 3 of those categories, there is nobody better.
Talking with some of the Dodger coaches today, they said Salvador Perez has an MVP in his future for sure. And that wasn't just a question mark, it was a for sure. First time they've seen him in a regular season game. Very impressed with his skills.
Oh, and 2 on the Dodgers catcher, A.J. Ellis. 1 for 4 last night with a couple of strikeouts. And past Infante, so down in the count. Ellis singles to center field, and the Dodgers have the leadoff man on for a second straight inning.
Duffy just coming right after him, but that's over the middle of the plate. If he stays on a corner, in or out, he'll hit it at somebody.
Jamie Romack hits a bullet to left field, and it's caught by Alex. 1 down in the second.
There's a 1 pitch out that'll help him. We saw how aggressive the offense was of the Dodgers last night, swinging a lot of Guthrie's first and second pitches. Salvi might have to scramble those up first time through. They're just 2 hitters away from first time through.
And a strike to Carlos Trienfel. Hanley Ramirez, the Dodgers' regular shortstop, was the DH last night and not in the lineup tonight. So Trienfel gets back-to-back starts. Once upon a time, a big prospect in the Seattle Mariners organization. 0-2. All that money that the Dodgers have spent this year, but when guys go on the disabled list, a team's depth either exposes some weakness or shows some strengths. And the Dodgers' lower third of their order: Jamie Romack, Carlos Trienfel, and Miguel Rojas. No balls, 2 strikes. Carl Crawford's on the disabled list. Juan Uribe's on the disabled list, and Hanley Ramirez is not in the lineup tonight.
Not your household names, but when you're those players, you want to get a chance and go for it all.
Nori Aoki now wearing Zach's old number 23. And he strikes out his first. 29 pitches in the first inning. 8 pitches so far in this inning, all strikes. 2 down. We remind you to tweet your photo using hashtag KCFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown during tonight's game broadcast, brought to you by AT&T. At the knees, a strike to Rojas, so 9 straight strikes. Rojas was 1 for 3 with a run scored last night. So he gets the call at second base. D. Gordon, the left-hand hitting regular second baseman of the Dodgers, getting the night off with Duffy on the mound. Sal keeps it close, and Ellis stays at first. 1 ball, 1 strike. Up the middle, Escobar cuts it off to Infantes. That's a lot better. Just 11 pitches to get through the second inning, and Duffy gets around the leadoff single. There's Alex with a home run off of a Cy Young winner. Max Scherzer will take his hacks against Clayton Kershaw, leading off the bottom of the second inning. Which Royals starter has been the best so far in June? All 4 of those starters have an ERA under 3 in June, with Danny Duffy at 1.75 in his previous 4 starts.
Extremely positive Sprint Framley question of the day. Very nice. Good to see that type of production this month, and no mention of the ace James Shields in there. The team's been winning behind him. Just doesn't have as impressive a numbers as the other 4 guys.
Jeremy Guthrie last night winning his 3rd straight start, giving up 2 runs in 7 2/3 innings and no runs until the 8th. Fastball is high to Alex. 0 for 4 last night.
Kershaw's only given up a 120 average with no homers to lefties.
Well, you mentioned his pitching arsenal. Above average fastball, above average curveball, above average slider, and then he has a herky jerky motion. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of starts and stops, and then the ball just explodes out of his hand.
It's all part of his deception. He's got a slight pause once he gets right there. There's a slight little pause there while the hitter continues to try to pick up the release point.
3-1.
But you know, looking at his record, 7-2 with a 2.52, somebody's beating him. Why not the Royals? Offense. They've been beating plenty of aces.
3-2.
starts out with that glove fanned wide open. So he's not going to give away any pitches by closing his glove, making it narrow, or wiggling his fingers.
Slider. He has 2 strikeouts, both with that pitch. 1 down in the 2nd inning.
It's a beauty. Fans, just a reminder as you enjoy a cold one to look forward to Miller Time later in today's game, brought to you by Miller Lite.
Ball 1 to Sal. 2 for 4 with a home run last night. His other hit was a double. And talking about hot hitters in the month of June, Sal is hitting .363. Trienfeld comes up and throws him out. 2 down. And now Omar Infante batting 6th for a 2nd consecutive game. He is one of the Royals' best hitters this year with runners in scoring position. So Ned Yost put him down in a spot where he will bat more often with runners in scoring position, and he takes ball 1. 1 for 4 last night. He did not have an RBI. He did steal a base. Right field, and Romack started back but recovers and comes in to make the play. So Kershaw has faced only 6 in 2 innings, and he has a 1-0 lead. Inning. University days are back at Kauffman Stadium this year. Fans of select area colleges can purchase a special ticket package that includes a ticket to the game and a limited edition KC cap sporting your favorite school colors, all at a discounted price. And next up is K-State Day this Sunday with the Angels, and then Mizzou night on July 25th. Royals.com/promotions now if you'd like to buy tickets. Fouled away by Justin Turner. He fouled off 6 pitches leading off the 1st inning. It resulted in an 11-pitch at bat, and he tripled and scored the only run.
Yeah, Duffy's probably saying, oh, here's this guy again.
Good curveball in for a strike. 0-2. 1-2 on Justin Turner, who came home on a fielder's choice ground out by Adrian Gonzalez.
You have an at bat like that in the first inning, that can lift your mentality, that can get you fired up. But what it did when he got that triple, I looked down into this dugout and the entire Dodgers were giving him a standing ovation. They were admiring it. And the pitch he hit was an unbelievable pitch. I mean, I don't even know how he squared it up like he did. But he's extremely confident. You know, you want to challenge him with a little knee-high fastball, but that ball was below the knees. He just went with it. Lorenzo Cain, he got a great jump and made a tremendous effort.
3-2. That was a changeup thrown by Duffy, which is his third pitch. His two best pitches are his fastball and his curveball. And in order to be a true three-pitch pitcher, that's the pitch that needs the most work. It is also the pitch that has hurt him the most. If you break him down pitch by pitch and attach an opponent's batting average to each one. Still 3-2 on Turner. And here are the numbers that show what he has done with each pitch. Mostly a fastball pitcher, the league hitting 172 against that pitch, 103 against his curve, but it shoots up over 300 when they put his changeup in play. So there's a difference between a pitcher referred to as a three-pitch pitcher versus a guy who has three pitches, right? When you say a guy's a three-pitch pitcher, that means all three pitches are good pitches.
That's right. And that number, looking at it, tells me that it's been elevated. So he hasn't got total command of that yet.
Just missed with a fastball, and Sal held it out there for the home plate umpire Hunter Wendelstedt. And Turner, after another long plate appearance, he's on to begin an inning.
That could have been called. Now Salvador was sitting on the inside part. He wanted in there. Just because his body was there didn't mean that didn't cross the plate. Wendelstedt gave it to Turner.
Fouled away by Matt Kemp. Kemp grounded to short in the first inning, and that was with Turner at third base and nobody out. Royals had the infield in halfway, and they got the ground ball. Turner has stolen 2 bases this year.
Yeah, situational base stealer.
One and one. I was talking to Nomar Garciaparra before the game tonight. Former Red Sox star, now television announcer for the Dodgers. Oral Hershiser on the left, Charlie Steiner on the right. And Nomar was selling me on a comparison between Clayton Kershaw and Danny Duffy. Now he was going back a few years. Chance for 2, and the Royals turn it. 6-4-3, so that helps out Duffy in his pitch count. 2 down in the third inning. Now when I say going back a few years, Nomar was reminding me that when Clayton Kershaw first got to the big leagues, and he was just 20 years old back in 2008, he was a fastball curveball pitcher. 2 very good pitches, but that's basically what he was. Then he learned the slider in 2011. He won the Cy Young that year, and then he won it again 2 years after that. And he said, man, I see that in Danny Duffy right now. A good fastball, a good curveball. And Danny has done more than survive with those 2 pitches. He's really been on a roll over his last 4. But the step between where he is now and where Kershaw is right now is that third pitch.
Yep, and he'll continue to evolve. But first things first, he went from a guy that couldn't throw a strike to all of a sudden a polished starter. Let him just ride on that for a little bit, and he will evolve and develop another pitch, whether it's a cutter or a slider. He's got the goods enough to get it done now.
He faces only 3 in the third inning. The Dodgers lead 1-0. Tonight's game is Steve Strauss, retiring after 36 years as a United States Postal Service letter carrier. Steve began volunteering throughout the community, doing everything from selling tickets at arts and food festivals to working at the Johnson County Library. Spending so much time in his car, Steve also drives the elderly to doctor's appointments, delivers for the community food pantry, and takes blood to area hospitals for the community blood center.
What a heart. Thank you, Steve.
Danny Valencia, Justin Maxwell, and Alcides Escobar in the bottom of the third against Clayton Kershaw. Down and away, ball 1.
Valencia hitting .268 with a homer against lefties.
And now 2-0. And now 3-0. Well, with Kershaw on the mound, it was the right time to talk about the Buck O'Neil legacy seat, because with everything he and his wife Ellen do here and around the world, when his career comes to an end, he will be a prime candidate for the Buck O'Neil legacy seat. And Joel got a chance to spend some time with him yesterday before game 1 of the series.
Yeah, spent about 5 minutes, Ryan, chatting with him, which is, of course, you don't usually talk to starting pitchers the day they start, but we don't see the Dodgers and Clayton Kershaw. I had never met him before, and in talking to people, they say he is just the type of person that has time for everyone, whether it be someone he's never met from the other side or the greats like Sandy Koufax. He says Sandy Koufax is a friend of his. And, of course, if you're a Dodger and you're left-handed and you're putting up ridiculous numbers, there are going to be comparisons to Sandy Koufax. It's inevitable. And he says that it is not a fair comparison whatsoever, and he doesn't take a whole lot of stock in that because, as he said, that's just Sandy Koufax, and he's the only Sandy Koufax, but he's putting up, Ryan and Hud, similar numbers, and we'll take a look at those in a comparison here in just a moment. But the thing about Clayton Kershaw, which is so incredible, is he may be the best pitcher in the major leagues right now, but he's an even better person, as you were hinting at, Ryan. First off, the numbers compared to Koufax. Threw 192 starts to start their career. Different generation, so he's not going to match Koufax's 64 complete games and a lot more innings, so the strikeout totals are higher. But the ERA 2.60 to Koufax's 3.43. Again, he wanted no part of that comparison. He said there's only one Sandy Koufax, but he gets a chance to pick Koufax's brain, which is incredible. But when you talk about the humanitarian work, Ryan, this is a guy that's 26 years old and has already won the Roberto Clemente Award in baseball. You mentioned his wife, Ellen. They've started an orphanage over in Zambia. It was his wife's doing that started off during a missionary trip, and we'll see how Kershaw plays defense just fine.
Pretty good.
Getting Maxwell out. But his wife went over there first. Once he went over there and saw it, he was hooked. They've started an orphanage, a hospital. They've done work for kids in Dallas, his hometown. Same thing in Los Angeles. This guy has accomplished so much off the field, you would never know that he's perhaps the game's best pitcher. I like Jamie Wright, the former Royal. There you see it in real time. And piece of cake, nice and calm to get it done. Jamie Wright, his teammate and throwing partner in the offseason back in Dallas, said, I think the kid's got a future. And that might be an understatement, tongue and cheek intended. But I reached out to Ken Rosenthal today, who has dealt with Clayton much more than we have, and he said he is absolutely legit on and off the field.
And he's doing it on the mound again tonight. Thank you, Joel. He has allowed one base runner and faced the minimum through 3 innings. Dodgers lead 1-0 at the end of 3. Is brought to you by Panera, coming soon to College and King in Overland Park. And by your Midwest Ford dealer. Visit your MidwestFordDealers.com. Dodgers scored in the first inning. Justin Turner tripled. Adrian Gonzalez, reaching on a fielder's choice, got him home, and Gonzalez leads off the 4th. Duffy with a breaking ball in for a strike. Gonzalez 47th RBI of the year, which is 5th in the National League. Oh, and 2.
There's a corner. Thought Duffy might go back-to-back breaking balls. He's got a good one. They wanted to tighten up his breaking ball and to turn it into a slider earlier in the season. But then once Danny Duffy got on track out of that bullpen early, and then they inserted him in that starting rotation, when Bruce Chin went down, he went back to just doing his thing, whatever, because it was working, it was successful. He'll continue to evolve, Ryan, like you talked to Nomar about. He'll refine his skill with that breaking ball, make him even more dangerous. But what's keeping him in there is changing speeds on his fastball. That's what's also helping him, turning that fastball into a couple different looks.
Breaking ball stayed up, and Gonzalez, a good hitter, goes the other way. And now the leadoff man has been on in 4 straight innings against Duffy. On the topic of lefties, Bruce Chen is back now that his back has healed off of the 60-day disabled list today, and Tim Collins was optioned to AAA Omaha, and Bruce was a starter when he went on the DL, and now he'll be the Royals' long reliever.
Wish him all the best. And you know, with all those power arms that Ned has out there in that bullpen, he'll be a nice little contrast in there. That was just the fourth hit Duffy's given up to a left-handed batter this year.
Two 2-0 on Scott Van Slyke.
He's got nice pull power and has done a good job being the Dodgers' 4th or 5th outfielder.
Runner goes, and Gonzalez is out. Just the 2nd stolen base attempt all year for Adrian Gonzalez. And with Van Slyke swinging at that pitch, that smells like a hit and run.
Yep. And also, you got to credit that tag by Infante. That ball was a little bit high over the base, but to have the ability to catch that and drop that tag quickly helped him out. Salvi with a quick release. That makes Salvi 11 of 32 in nabbing base runners.
Ball to strike. Van Slyke didn't like it. 2-2.
Nice pitch down in the zone. Adrian Gonzalez, the left-hander, hit that curve when it was up. If you throw it up to Van Slyke, he's liable to hit that out of the park. So it was perfect spot for that breaking ball.
Very interesting numbers for him. 6 home runs, 11 RBIs. It tells you a lot of solo home runs.
He's got a funky start to his stance. He stands there, he holds his hands down low. He's got a little bit of a timing with his bat wiggle, but then that big leg, his left leg, comes all the way up with that flamingo kick. That's a timing device for hitters. You want to try to make sure that foot comes down right about on contact, but you got to be really good with it. If not, you can be behind it like that.
Got the call again. Van Slyke is furious now. He didn't like the call a few pitches ago when Duffy got the call on a slider down and in. And Hunter Wendelstedt also gave Danny the corner down and away.
That's exactly where you teach pitchers to hit that strike zone on big league hitters. That's right where you want it.
in quotations, of course, that part of the strike zone. At least according to Fox Tracks. A.J. Ellis single to center in the second inning. Two and 0. Had a play. This is just the 24th game for A.J. Ellis. He's been on the disabled list twice. And one time, you hear about this every now and then, he was injured during a celebration when Josh Beckett threw his no-hitter for the Dodgers in Philadelphia. Drew Butera was behind the plate, and during the celebration, Ellis was injured and had to go on the disabled list.
Ooh. That's not good. What happened to him? What he hurt?
He was, here's Josh Beckett, and then he was behind the plate when Clayton Kershaw threw his no-hitter against the Rockies. A right ankle sprain for A.J. Ellis during the on-field celebration following Josh Beckett's no-hitter. And he will reach on Duffy's second walk of the night. So 2 down, and now Jamie Romack, and he swung at the first pitch when he batted in the second inning and lined to left, so we weren't able to tell you about his story. He finally got to the big leagues this year after parts of 12 seasons in the minor leagues, and that included a couple of years in the Royals organization, 2010 and 2011 at both AA and AAA. 4,306 minor league plate appearances, and then got to the big leagues as a 28-year-old. And he takes ball one inside. Talking to Lonnie Goldberg before the game. Lonnie, now the Royals director of scouting. Lonnie was with the Braves when Jamie Romack was signed back in the 4th round, and now Lonnie with the Royals. And talking to him before the game tonight, just felt blessed that the stars lined up in such a way that one of his favorites, and there's Tommy Lasorda, the longtime Hall of Fame manager of the Dodgers, who loved the underdog. So Jamie Romack is his type of a guy.
Now he's mine. That's tremendous to persevere that long. That's a ton of ABs. And you know, yesterday when Romack came on the field, Hosmer saw him and went over to him like he was his long lost friend. And I didn't recognize him because I'd never seen him before. So now that makes sense.
4th round pick of the Braves in 2003. One and two. And a guy like Jamie Romack, you figure, is not going to get a shot to play on a team like the Dodgers with their payroll. If they've got a problem, they are set up in a way where they will go out and buy something to fix their problem. So you could be in AAA but be a million miles away from the big leagues. But he's here. He is 0 for 2 tonight against Duffy as Duffy strikes out his 3rd and is not allowed a run since the top of the 1st inning.
He's got it going on. See if somebody can get him some runs.
Lorenzo Cain is set to lead off. Had an RBI last night in a spot his teammates call the low Cain triangle. They would all like to be able to do this. Hud, thanks for the help there on the drawing. And what they mean by the low Cain triangle, just a little small area where he could drop it right in, and it falls for a hit. Got an RBI on this one, and his teammates seem to think this is one of the funniest things they have ever seen. They're also a bit envious because think of all the times that guys have been robbed on the shift or can't quite get it through. And Cain does this on a regular basis to the point where during batting practice in his group, he will try to work on that every single time. And as the coaching staff, his teammates will say, he doesn't have the most orthodox of swings, but yet he'll get up there and somehow be able to drop it in there. And they say when he drops it in there once or twice during batting practice, it's going to be a good night. He'll get over to first base, and Rusty Kuntz has said to him before, man, you could land an airplane out there in that little spot.
That's great. You know, that's hard to practice that in batting practice. I don't even know how you could do that. Most guys are up there trying to hit the ball to the park.
I like the guys in the clubhouse, as we were talking about it the other day. They said that spot is there for only him and no one else, but they will gather around the cage during batting practice, and when he drops it in there, you could see the body language, the smiles, and the laughing going on as they see that Lorenzo Cain, perhaps adjusting to the pitcher going away, trying to drop one out there for an easy hit into shallow right field. Kind of a Bermuda triangle at times between the first baseman, second baseman, and right fielder.
Yeah, there are some small airplanes and boats that have been missing for years that are also out in that area in right center field.
That's almost like Tony Gwynn's 5.5 hole. You know, he's famous for that.
Yeah, but this one's called the low Cain triangle.
That was a swing. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Is that fair to characterize it as an unorthodox swing, or sometimes not always your standard? Well, that swing right there was definitely not a standard swing.
Well, that's what you're aiming with 2 strikes, right? I mean,
yeah, you want to dump it out there, and I call them doinkers. There's terms for them. I've heard in the game that's a good curveball. Got a piece of it. I've heard water in the garden. You know, that's a water in the garden shot, because when you water the garden with your hose, you know, the ball or the water goes up and down, and that's where that term came from. But the low Cain triangle would be fine for him right now. That's that big curveball. Thanks, Joel. That's awesome. That's always fun for the players.
that is a foul ball in the area of the triangle. But, you know, to Joel's point, that with 2 strikes, hitters try and shorten up, and they try and go the other way. And sometimes you get a pitch that you can hit hard over there, and sometimes you get a pitch that you don't hit hard over there. But there might be some good fortune mixed in when you get a blue pit over there, but the fact that he's trying to go that way.
Oh, it's a beautiful thing, especially with the runner in scoring position. We've seen those 10 times this year. He's hitting .369. Those are welcomed. Good eye. He's putting together a good at-bat here.
And to Ryan's point there, while that may have been outside of the triangle, if it, say, lands on the chalk, it backs up what you're saying about that 2-strike approach. And whether that ball fell in the triangle or down the line, that's exactly what he was trying to do.
Got him to chase a fastball up. 3rd strikeout for Kershaw. 1 down in the 4th inning. Eric Hosmer is the only hit so far against Kershaw tonight. And he is our MTP of the game, the most trusted player, brought to you by the most trusted brand, Honda.
You know, almost was a good idea to let Hosmer have a mental day. Let him take a chill pill on the pine. But, you know, Ned hates to do that. Look at him now, 2 for 2 because of his great glove. You know, he could have put Billy over there at first base, but Ned didn't want to. He's so valuable on that side of the ball that he left him in, and now look, he's 2 for 2.
He hit an impossible pitch when he singled in the 1st inning. That pitch was up, might have still been a strike. But the pitch he hit into left field in the first inning was at least shoulder high, and he got it in between third and short. Watch this pitch.
I mean, way off the grid on our Fox tracks. It's working. Really got a hard fastball in, and he grounded into a double play his first time up on the first pitch, so he's not swinging at that pitch regardless of where it was going to be. And that was the 66th time a Royals had grounded into a double play. That's tied for 4th most in the AL.
Oh, 2 on Billy.
He's trying to do the same thing. He's keeping the ball in, hoping Billy will hit it to Turner, the third baseman. Didn't have to be. It looked like Hunter Wendelstedt's got a pretty liberal zone tonight.
One and 2. And Billy is still boiling over 2 pitches ago.
That slider is a signature pitch for a lot of great lefties that has pitched in this game. Steve Carlton had a wicked slider. Randy Johnson, great slider. Ron Guidry, great strikeout slider. Put Kershaw in that mix. Now, there's that big curve, and hitters are able to pick that one up a little easier than they are that slider. Still wasn't in a good spot. It was down. It wasn't a hanger, but just able to get a piece of it to stay alive. Just like the Royals did against Greinke last night. Wait till it's in your zone and don't miss it.
Look out. Well, that's what happens when a guy is throwing a slow curveball, and you got to stay back, you got to stay back, you got to stay back. And then a late swing on a fastball.
Billy's getting better against lefties. His average is creeping up at 273. However, he has not hit a homer off a lefty this year.
Slide step to first. He has been slide stepping to the plate and now incorporated that into his move to first base.
And Hosmer, he just almost drifted off the base. It lulled him to sleep. See how he looks home? What's so deceptive about a left-hander in his move is his head. They trick you a lot with their head. Sometimes they'll go home looking at you, and sometimes they'll look home and then go to first. And when you haven't seen a guy before, you got to be careful. They can't afford to make any mistakes out there if they're going to beat Kershaw. Okay, watch Kinsler. See Kinsler? He just kind of he's not even looking. See that? And that comes from scouting. The scouting report tells you he's got a step-off move. If you're the runner, you cannot take your eye off the pitcher when you're getting your lead. Just when you're stepping off, that's when they get you. Haas shortening up that lead.
Billy's still upset as he strikes out against Kershaw. Upset about a call against him earlier in the at-bat. 5 strikeouts for Kershaw, 2 down in the 4th. Toyota league leaders, the lowest ERA since 2009. Clayton Kershaw has led the major leagues in ERA the last 3 years. Strike to Alex.
Left-handers are really deceptive when they're holding runners on, especially Kershaw. That shot we just saw of that camera behind the runner with Kershaw holding his glove, that's really strange. See how he comes all the way up over his head like that, and he holds it in his gloves in a funky position.
Almost like he's got his right wrist cocked.
Right.
I mean,
okay, here it is now. He's coming up. See how his right arm is cocked in there, and you can't even see his hand. He's covering his hole from his elbow down to his hand.
Look at Hosmer's lead now. 1-2 on Alex.
Hunter Windelstadt's not making any fans by the hitters tonight anyway. At least both sides are complaining.
It's a part of his game that has really improved. We were showing you the Dodgers broadcast team a couple of innings ago, and while I was over there, Charlie Steiner, who has seen every pitch of Clayton Kershaw's career, said that when he first got to the big leagues, he really had no move to first base. He didn't know how to throw to first base because he didn't have to throw to first base. Nobody was ever on.
That's right.
You know, he never had to worry about the runners. But because he's such a good athlete, in a very short period of time, not only did he learn to throw over there, but came up with a great move. Here's a guy who we've been talking all about his no-hitter in his last start. 15 strikeouts in 9 innings, and pitching in the Dallas area as a high schooler, and that's good high school baseball. That his best game was a 5-inning perfect game. And because of the 10-run mercy rule, they only played 5 innings, but he struck out 15. He struck out every hitter that he faced. And all those high school years, I mean, nobody was on first base. How do you learn a move? Hosmer rounds second, but he'll hold on the wild pitch, and it's 3-2 on Alex.
That's a great point. How are you going to learn that? You're exactly right. So now,
and if you can pitch like that, Hud, why'd even try and pick the guy off when you're going to strike out the next 2 or 3 guys if somebody gets on anyway?
Yeah, no question. How about that break there? 2 outs, a runner in scoring position. Last night, Kansas City was 4 for 12 with runners in scoring position. Let's see if they can make some magic happen here.
That call did not go the pitcher's way. That's Kershaw's first walk, and the Royals have 2 runners for the first time tonight.
That's off the plate. Great plate discipline again by Alex. Strong patience. 30-second walk. Royals know they got to come up with a big hit. They've been doing that against aces.
And a strike to Sal. On one hand, Sal is hitting .217 with runners in scoring position. That's this year. But this month, he is hitting .455 with runners in scoring position, which has helped the Royals surge to second in the major leagues in that department. 1 ball and 1 strike. Sal was one of the best last year. Only Miguel Cabrera in the American League had a better average with runners in scoring position than Salvador Perez. He had .377.
Kershaw's given up 4 home runs this year, all to righties.
Backhanded to third by Turner, and he throws out Sal. The Royals strand 2. At the end of 4, Kershaw and the Dodgers still leading 1-0. Royals baseball is brought to you by Chrysler, imported from Detroit, and by 5 Hour Energy. Nothing Dodgers on Adrian Gonzalez's RBI fielder's choice back in the first inning. Mr. and Mrs. Kaufman and their statues in the outfield experience out in right center field. More tears as Major Robert Sides was honored in between innings, and we showed you him receiving a first pitch thrown by his son Austin. Austin had no idea his dad was the catcher. His dad got into a Royals uniform, put the catcher's mask on, and he had been gone for a year, and that was a big surprise for him and the family, and got a standing ovation in between innings. There's Toby Cook over there, maybe telling him that we were speechless in the first inning.
Well, memories are made every single day at a baseball field, and mainly big league ballparks, and certainly one tonight will never be forgotten.
Hosmer into foul ground, tough play, and he makes the play.
I'll say not just the angle of the route that he took, the route he took it, but it's the sky. It's twilight right now. Sometimes you run to a ball and you look up, you can't find the ball. So put that degree of difficulty in with that. Duffy says, yes, right. That's my guy.
You don't see many infielders catch a pop-up over their head like that. Usually it's with the glove palm up. Throwback term, a basket catch. But to reach up, and well, of course he's catching it palm up like that, but I'm talking about with his hands out in front of his chest.
Yeah, thumbs out.
Thumbs out, facing, looking at both of his hands as he's making the catch. The most famous one, of course, is the Willie Mays catch, but Hosmer extends that right arm as high as he can and catches it up above his head.
We saw Logan Morrison do that against the Royals. He was with Seattle and saved a big run. That would have been a tying run or a go-ahead run. I'm not sure which one, but it was a big play going out with his glove turned the same way Hosmer's was.
Two and one on Miguel Rojas. 0 for 1 so far tonight. Three and one.
He didn't want to lose him with you-know-who on deck.
Well, you would think when you say you-know-who, you're talking about Yasiel Puig, but you-know-who is Justin Turner tonight against Danny Duffy.
He's a pitch eater. What was that? Duffy saying the same thing. Good spot. That's exactly where you want to put that fastball.
Remember, you can vote for the Royals Player of the Month at rallyhouse.com/Royals, and you'll be entered to win a majestic prize pack from Rally House. And it's too bad we cannot nominate Major Robert A. Sides.
Before the game, his son didn't know it. His dad had been gone for a year. Oh, special.
All right, let's start counting up the foul balls. 6 by Turner in the first inning against Danny Duffy, and he tripled, scoring the only run. There's the standing ovation that Robert Sides received in between innings, and not many dry eyes that time around either. In the third inning, Justin Turner led off, and he was down 0-2. He ended up walking. He fouled off 3 in that plate appearance, and he's fouled off 1 here. So 3 plate appearances against Duffy, and he has 10 foul balls. And you take those away, and Duffy's at 73 pitches right now instead of 83 in the 5th inning.
Yeah, and that's the importance of that type of at-bats that he's having. But when you watch him run the bases and break up that double play or attempt to, and that stock's even on the rise even better. He plays the game. He went after Infante. He's making the most of his starts. He doesn't get many, but that's what you do, and that's what keeping him around. Watch this. Now you make up your decision whether you're going to go inside the bag or outside, and he knew Infante was coming in the whole way. Tried to get that right arm up there. Take him down. He wasn't going spikes high. He was sliding in the lane that he thought Infante was going in, and he guessed right.
Now, you said that when you played, there were certain guys on the bases that you had to be aware of. And Infante played that like he wasn't surprised at all, as if he knew Turner was going to be in his lap, because he got into his jump early and still was able to throw a strike over to Hosmer.
No, he turned a beautiful double play on that, but you're right. You got to know who can hurt you and who can't. There it is.
That time it took only 3 pitches, and finally Danny gets Turner. 2 outs in the 5th inning.
Great spot. When he misses, it's not missing by much, but that's right on the outside part of the plate. And Turner, you got to go. Duffy said, take that.
Rojas wasn't very far off the bag. Kemp is grounded to short twice. One of those was the double play that we just showed you, with Turner sliding hard into Infante.
You know, Infante, he knew him from the National League days when Infante was with the Florida Marlins and Turner was with the Mets. Believe me, you know it. Just like back in the day when George Brett and Hal McRae got on base. Every second baseman that ever played against them knew you better trick them good on the bases or get rid of it, or just step on that bag and get one.
Two and 0 on Kemp. Matt Kemp from Midwest City, Oklahoma, which is about 350 miles southwest of Kansas City. Close enough for family and friends to come up for this 3-game series between the Royals and the Dodgers. Two and 1. Mentioned last night some of his recent injuries, and last year Matt Kemp had surgery on his left ankle. He had surgery on his left shoulder, so that really cut into his playing time. And when that happened, there was a lot of talk about him being the best overall position player in the game. Speed, power, defense, batting average, you name it. 2 and 2. It was just 3 seasons ago in 2011. Matt Kemp hit .324 with 39 home runs, 126 RBIs, and 40 stolen bases. He was 1 home run shy of a 40-40 season.
Who got the MVP that year? It wasn't him, and I know it broke his heart. So he came back the next year saying, you know what, this year I'm going to get it, and it didn't work out. He's heartbroken. Ryan Braun got it.
Rojas moves up on the pitch in the dirt. So he's in scoring position now for Kemp. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
So now you wonder how, or you know why, that Duffy had a 17.5 top of the first inning with that leadoff triple to Turner. Ned came out, they talked. Duffy doing a great job holding these guys down, but they were talking about trying to keep that runner from scoring on third base. That was the longest first inning that I've seen this year, and that's why, because Kershaw, as good as he is, that might be all he needs. Rojas made a good move there. He was breaking on the first bounce.
And now Kemp will walk. That's 2 in the inning for Duffy. And that means Puig comes up with 2 on. Here are the results from our Sprint Framley question of the night. Which Royals starter has been the best so far in June? 39% going with Danny Duffy, and it's hard to argue with a 1.75 ERA. Puig has an infield single, and he's flied out to right. 0-1.
Hasn't homered in 23 games. He's listed at 6'3", 235. And hanging around that batting cage today, they got some big boys. He looked like he could be a middle linebacker or possibly a fullback. He can run. He flies.
Valencia is going to have a long throw, and it's going to bounce twice, and Hosmer picks it out.
This is beautiful. Guys on the left side don't have to worry about anything. Just get it over there to him. Great hands. Clayton Kershaw, man, has he got the real deal going. He's outstanding. Not only that, but he's a Gold Glover. He won one in 2011. Fielding his position, mixing up his pitches. Royals so far have scratched 2 hits, both of those by Hosmer, the left-handed batter. Go figure.
1 walk, 4 strikeouts in 4 innings, and he's given up just those 2 hits. And before today, Kershaw had only allowed 6 hits to left-hand batters all year, and for him that's 10 starts. He started the season on the disabled list, and then Hosmer, as you mentioned, has the only 2 tonight. Infante flied to right in the 2nd inning. Danny Valencia after him, and then Justin Maxwell. Played on 1 hop by Rojas. Tough hitting luck for Infante. 1 down. The Stars have aligned for the 2014 Major League Baseball All-Star Game as the best in the American League take on the best in the National League. Don't miss it, Tuesday, July 15th at Target Field in Minneapolis. 7 p.m. Central Time on Fox. Kershaw pitched here at Kauffman Stadium 2 years ago for the All-Star Game and pitched 1 inning, gave up a couple of hits and a walk. One and 1 on Danny Valencia. He grounded out to Rojas at second base in the 3rd inning. Danny just back from the disabled list this homestand, when that left hand just wouldn't quite calm down after taking 3 or 4 games off, and he admits that even now it's not quite 100%. Harder to hit with a sore top hand or bottom hand?
Both. Either one. Either one. You're having, if you got any kind of issues with either hand, you're going to have trouble swinging the bat. I'm going to say bottom hand.
Turner slides, throws, safe. Gonzalez made a good play, but Valencia beat it out for an infield single.
Nice hustle. Couple of big bounces. He's off. See, he's on his front foot when he swung, so he was already heading and leaning towards first base. And he beat it. He earned that one. Good play by Turner. Wade Davis in the bullpen. He's playing spectator. He beat him. How about Wade Davis making the All-Star team? You know, John Farrell wants to have somebody at the back end of that pin like that that can shut down any National League hitters.
I'd like to see who makes the All-Star team that has numbers better than that.
Yeah, no one. Still hasn't given up an extra base hit this year.
Justin Maxwell hitting the start over Gerard Dyson tonight. And 2 easy things to look at. You got a right-hand batter against Kershaw, and Dyson had a great game last night, his first 3-hit 2 RBI major league game. And Maxwell gives you a legitimate shot at hitting a home run, and that's usually, not all the time, but that's usually how you're going to beat a guy like Clayton Kershaw. You're not going to string together 4 or 5 hits in an inning. You're going to hope that you got a guy on like you've got right now, he makes a mistake, and you got a guy that can put it in the fountains.
No, it's a logical move for Ned. Plus you got Dyson for later in the game, come in and steal a base. So far he's powering those fastballs by Maxwell. Slider could be coming.
1-2. Now Maxwell's had a bad time against Kershaw. He is 0 for 8 with 5 strikeouts. It just takes one mistake. Right over the outside corner for his 5th strikeout.
Ellis had that target down low and he hit it. Dodger manager Donnie Mattingly played 14 years with the New York Yankees. The thing that impresses him most about Kershaw is how humble he is. He never lets success go to his head. And all those Yankee players over Mattingly's career, they were in that Yankee clubhouse. Plenty of egos. He saw a lot of guys let success go to their head. And that's the one thing he told me that he is impressed most about Kershaw.
One and one on Escobar. He's the only guy I can remember since I've been following the game closely that has gotten a mega contract, and everyone has pretty much said if anyone deserves that contract, it's him. He deserves every penny.
Ooh, there was one up. A rare pitch that was up in the zone, an off-speed pitch. Esky couldn't get it. But you're right. Dodgers gave the left-hander a 7-year extension, making him the highest paid pitcher in Major League history. That's the one you look for. He just missed it. Valencia hasn't stolen a base, but Kershaw, he's letting him know that he's mindful of him over there.
Two and two on Escobar. Another hot hitter for the Royals in June, batting .380 this month. Got up to that number last night with 2 more hits, including a triple. Scored 2 runs and drove in a run. Nasty slider. 6 strikeouts for Kershaw, 2 more in the 5th inning, and the Dodgers still lead 1-0. In 5 innings, a 1-0 Dodgers lead as we head to the 6th inning. Tomorrow, we should see good pitching again. James Shields, who is 8-3. And we'll be going up against right-hander Dan Herron, who is 7-4 for the Dodgers. Same time tomorrow, 7:10 first pitch, with coverage beginning at 6:30 with Hy-Vee Royals Live. A couple of Southern California right-handers.
Be another great game. Every night, the rest of the year, this is the kind of baseball Royals fans have been waiting for years, from what I understand.
Fouled away, 0-2. 95 pitches for Danny Duffy. Academy Sports and Outdoors shows us our starters comparison. And there's a lot to compare except for that final column. Pitches. Kershaw 72. Danny Duffy, because of a 29 pitch first inning, is coming up on 100 in the 6th.
I thought that quick pitch got him.
Looked like Gonzalez was almost ready for it, though, as he flies out to Kane in center field. Didn't appear to be too surprised by it. But Danny gets the out, and Gonzalez, who drove in the run back in the first inning, is 1 for 3.
Instead of bringing his leg up, he just slide step from the windup. And we saw that in his last outing. He did that once, and it worked for him there. Got an out.
We also saw that quite a bit, sorry, Hud, from Luke Hochevar as a starter a couple of years ago, and even as a reliever would speed up his windup.
It's all about deception from that pitcher to the hitters, and if it can get you an out like Duffy just got, it's worth it. Duffy going with mainly off-speed pitches to Van Slyke, and that's a good idea, because all you got to do is show him a fastball once, maybe in, but with that big flamingo leg kick, that throws off his timing. There's that heater in.
There's a changeup. We were talking about that pitch earlier tonight. A good one from Duffy. His 5th strikeout, 2 down in the 6th inning.
Duffy's impressive. He has got the confidence now.
High and away to A.J. Ellis. He's been on twice with a single and a walk. One and one. Just the second time this year that Danny has gone over 100 pitches. The first time was on Thursday at Detroit, and he threw 101, so he barely got over that mark. Good hard breaking ball. In the 2nd inning, Danny threw 11 pitches, 10 strikes. In this inning, 9 pitches, all strikes. Little bit low.
He's getting much better command with that changeup. Tonight's game has given him even more confidence. You see that 29 first pitch inning. Most likely will get him out of the game after this inning here.
Hit well to left field, but Alex is there, and that's the inning. So he survived that long first inning, only allowed 1 run, and then strings together 5 consecutive scoreless innings. Dealers.com. Danny Duffy with 104 pitches and allowing just 1 run, and that was way back in the first inning. On the other side, the Royals, no runs, 3 hits in 5 innings against Clayton Kershaw.
Well, frustrating so far, and you can tell by the expressions on the Royals batters. They're not the first team that's ever been frustrated by Kershaw.
3rd time through, and it's our Sonic Slam inning. Our contestant is Pat Egan from Lenexa. If the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Pat wins $800 as Kane takes inside. If the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Pat wins 25 grand from Sonic and the Kansas City Royals. Two and 0. Lorenzo has struck out twice against Kershaw, both times swinging. In the first inning on a slider, in the 4th inning on a fastball. Kershaw has struck out 6 in 5 innings and only walked 1. Two and 1. Right center field, well hit, but slicing and back into Romack. It looked like he had some trouble with either the lights or the ribbon boards, and he's able to make the play.
It looked like he wasn't sure exactly where that ball was coming to him from, but he knew that a right-hander hits that ball and it's going to come back to you, so he thought it was hit harder than it was. Talking about that message board. What did you call it, Ryan?
The ribbon board.
There you go.
0-2. Royals have 3 hits. Hosmer has 2 of them with singles. 3rd time through the order for the Royals. So what does that mean against Clayton Kershaw? Rojas going to have to hurry, and he gets Hosmer by a step, 2 down. Some pitchers fade the deeper they get into the game. Some stay the same. Some get stronger. And Kershaw, look at that. Boy, he fades all the way from 210 to 215 3rd time through the order. So the Royals, they've got him right where they want him.
That's right.
That's remarkable. I mean, he's basically the same pitcher from the 1st inning, depending on how many runners he gives up, through the 6th or 7th inning.
Yep. And like advertised, he's got 4 and he uses them all. And he's got command with every one of them.
Tough night for Billy. He grounded into a double play in the 1st inning and then struck out in the 4th. And in that inning, he was at odds with home plate umpire Hunter Wendelstedt.
Kershaw's only missed in the middle of the plate just a few times. Escobar got one he fouled off. Hosmer's, you can't say those were in the strike zone. Those were out of the zone that he had hit for base hits. But he's keeping the ball on the corners.
Base hit left field on an 0-2 pitch.
That'll work. That pitch was not in the middle either. Really got out and got it before it got him. Kershaw saying, was that ball up? No, that's just really good hitting.
Just tying away, ball 1. Alex has walked and struck out. Kershaw's at just 83 pitches. He's only had 1 long inning. That was the bottom of the 4th. 2-0.
And you know, he's special because of his 4 pitches, but also the location. He's everywhere around the strike zone. He rarely misses in the middle. Couple of pitches up.
Three and 0.
Alex walked his last time up.
Three and 1. Full count.
Well, he is not missing. He's staying away from Gordon. He knows what Alex can do if that ball's middle in, and he is not giving in. Now those pitches there are borderline. Alex thought that was ball 4.
Nothing right in the middle of that grid at all.
Nothing.
Everything right on the edges.
Yep.
And then a changeup. 7 strikeouts for Kershaw. Royals strand Butler in the 6th inning. It's still 1-0 LA.
Do you have a corporate outing coming up or clients coming into town? Ticketsforless.com can get your group within the first 10 rows behind the dugout or even all together in the front row of the crown seats. Check out Ticketsforless.com for all your Royals tickets. And Royals fans here tonight are not, thankfully for the Royals, seeing a no-hitter, but they are seeing a true ace performance. Clayton Kershaw as good as advertised so far. Ryan?
Boy, you're not kidding. 6 innings, 4 hits. That's it. He is struck out 7. Danny Duffy not far behind him. Danny gave up just 1 run, 4 hits in his 6 innings, but ran out of pitches as he got to 104. And Aaron Crow is a Chevy call to the bullpen as he gets the lower third of the Dodgers batting order, which does not include Clayton Kershaw with the American League rules. But Kershaw isn't bad at the plate either. He's a .217 hitter, and talking to people closely connected to the team, they say that when he gets to hit, that he has an impact as well. If he's not getting a base hit, it's the way he runs the bases. He's not a typical pitcher that kind of backs off a little bit because he doesn't want to hurt himself running the bases. He runs out every ground ball hard.
That's beautiful.
1-2 on Jamie Romack against Aaron Crow.
It's the first time I ever had a chance to see Kershaw pitch in person, and it makes me thankful to be up here and not try to get down there and hit that. That's something they'll have to. Can't miss that pitch over the middle if he gives you one. Crow, just hold him down.
Does he remind you of anybody you faced?
Never. Not with his delivery, especially with a runner on base. I never ever saw a pitcher put both of his hands straight over his head like that, and that's got to be a timing and a balance point for him. Haven't had a chance to talk to him.
Over Crow. Infante backhands. Nice play for the out.
But he timed that perfectly. That Kansas City Royals infield and outfield, they are special. They make the plays. All the routine ones and the ones that they're not supposed to make. Made that look routine. Watch him judge that hop. Gloves it, and then the throw quickly turns his body, stays on top with his arm slot, stays straight.
Strike on Trienfeld. He was 0 for 2 against Danny Duffy. Oh, and 2. Left center field. Alex is there. 2 down for Crow in the 7th inning. And a look at our AT&T fan photo of the game sent in by Matthew. And Matthew with a female friend who looks like she's wearing a fedora from our Salute to the Negro Leagues Day.
Yeah, he's got a little message there, but can't quite pick that up.
Miguel Rojas has walked and grounded into a force out. 2-0. Duffy, by giving up 1 run in 6 innings, that takes his ERA down to 1.71 in his last 5 starts, with a 164 opponent's batting average.
Who me?
Valencia cuts in front of Escobar and throws out Rojas. So 2 good defensive plays on the infield in support of Aaron Crow in a scoreless 7th inning. Stretch time at Kauffman Stadium. Royals are down 1-0.
Come and get everything. Shortstops appreciate that.
Down 1-0 to the Dodgers. Well, don't miss your chance to grab this special edition Charlie Hustle brand t-shirt on Friday, July 11th, when the Tigers are in town. For a limited time only, fans can purchase this special ticket package that includes a ticket to the game and a Royals Charlie Hustle t-shirt. You can only get this one-of-a-kind t-shirt by purchasing the Charlie Hustle ticket package. So go to Royals.com/Charlie Hustle to learn more.
It's 2 first ball strikes thrown to Salvi. We saw what he did first swing last night off Greinke. Hit a homer. Breaking ball. Royals going to have to find a way to steal this one. Somehow, some way.
Ellis chases that ball aggressively, wondering if Sal had swung and thinking he might make it the long throw to first base, but on appeal, Brian Knight, the first base umpire, said that Sal did not go around.
No, and Salvi, he sold that well. He didn't take off running. He's saying, "Nah, I didn't swing at that." Now Ellis did a nice job of not assuming.
Trienfeld charges and throws out Sal for a second time tonight, and Sal is 0 for 3. So 92 pitches for Clayton Kershaw, and Royals can hope to work on that pitch count, get him out, if not next inning, the 9th inning, and take their chances against the Dodger bullpen.
Believe that. Get to that pin.
Ball 1-2 Infante. We've talked about it a few times tonight. When Kershaw threw the no-hitter on Wednesday, he only threw 107 pitches. That's also his season high. Base hit center field. Infante is 1 for 3.
Doesn't miss. Infante, if there's a fastball out over the plate, he's going to take a good rip on it. And this is what they need to do. Somehow find a way. Valencia, slice a double, pull a double, or hit a gapper. Get him home.
Base hit left field.
Okay, creeping up, creeping up. He's setting dead red fastball and got that one. So now Kershaw's leaving a few pitches in the middle. See if they can do a little more with it than just a single. But one would be perfect here. Maxwell's going to have to shorten up his swing a little bit. It's been long, but that swing is nice and short and compact to the ball. Valencia having a nice game. Making a couple of nice plays at defense. On defense and chipping in with a single there.
Fastball to Maxwell for a strike. Maxwell has grounded back to Kershaw, and he made a nice play to throw him out, and then Kershaw struck him out in the 5th inning. 97 pitches for Clayton Kershaw.
Yes. Good job being patient.
One reason I'm sure why 107 pitches is his season high prior to tonight. Kershaw made a start for the Dodgers back in March. Remember, they began the year in Australia against the Diamondbacks, and then he went on the disabled list with a strained muscle in his back. Maxwell couldn't lay off the slider. 1 ball and 2 strikes, and immediately there were cries in protest as to why the Dodgers would fly their team all the way to Australia and back for a couple of exhibition games, especially with some blaming Kershaw sitting down for so long for going on the DL. So he's only making his 11th start, and the Dodgers brought him along very slowly in his first several starts after coming back from the DL. So he has not had any start this year where he's gone over 107 pitches, and his next pitch here will be number 100. Did he go? No. 2-2.
Get a batter like Maxwell swinging at that slider. He's going to keep throwing him there. Ooh, good job of checking that swing. Somehow, some way, it can be done.
Breaking ball stayed up. Turner out at second, and no chance for a double play.
Rojas didn't look like he had his feet underneath him to turn this. Valencia came in hard, but his base was too wide. He couldn't get a good throw off.
Just the second time all night the Royals have had more than 1 runner in an inning, and it's the first time they've had a runner at third. Brandon League comes up in the Dodger bullpen.
Infante will be alive at third base for anything that bounces to Ellis's left or to his right. See if they can steal a run with a wild pitch.
Kershaw has 3 wild pitches this year. Got a pitch up behind the bag. Tough play, and the Dodgers get out of it. So Kershaw, the Gold Glover, couldn't make the play. But he was picked up by his second baseman, Miguel Rojas. And that makes 7 scoreless innings for Kershaw.
If that ball kicks off of Kershaw, the Royals get a run.
Era takes us around the American League. J.D. Martinez at it again with the home run. Detroit up 6-1. The White Sox, they end up doubling up Baltimore and snap their 5-game losing streak. Yankees came back in this one, made it close for the Blue Jays win 7-6. And the Angels right now ahead of Minnesota early on in Anaheim. Angels will be here this weekend. Our Mazda game break, the return of Ian Kinsler to Texas. There weren't a whole lot of fans there to see it, but he goes deep so far. That trade, obviously much better for Detroit. Prince Fielder is out for the year. All Tigers in that one. Currently, they lead the Royals in the American League Central by 2 games. Before we talk about Kelvin Herrera, I did want to mention to you guys a rule modification today as far as those catcher collision rules at home plate. And what the league did was change things so that on a force play, while the runner still can't barrel over that catcher, same rules as before, the catcher does have the right to stand on that plate, just as a first baseman or anybody else at a bag on a force play would do. That had caused some issues in the Pittsburgh game last week with the way the rules were laid out. So a minor change there and a reasonable one.
And there'll probably be more, won't there?
Oh, yeah.
Try and figure out how to keep it a game, a physical game at times, and protect the pitchers.
Yep. Joe Torre and company said it would take them a couple of years, maybe 3, to get it ironed out the way they want it.
Justin Turner, the first to face Kelvin Herrera in the 8th inning.
If that ball that Escobar hit would have glanced off of Kershaw in any direction at all, they wouldn't have thrown him out at first, and they would have scored a run and tied the game. So I don't know how it got through his legs, but it did. Tough luck there.
One hop to Hosmer. And a good start for Herrera to begin the 8th inning. And now Herrera gets Matt Kemp. Kemp is 0 for 2, and he reached with a walk. Right in there at 98.
That hard fastball, slider, changeup. 3 of them he's got. Really only need 2, but that breaking ball really has helped Kelvin this year. Keep him off of the fastball. There it is, and it's got a lot more depth to it this year. Last season they sent him out to the minors twice to work on that, and it was a little slider, it looked like, but now this year it's evolving into a nice overhand breaking ball.
Still 0-2. Dodgers run was way back in the first inning. Turner tripled, and with 1 out, Gonzalez grounded into a force out. Turner scored, and that's it. 1 run, 4 hits for the Dodgers. No run, 6 hits for the Royals against Kershaw. One and 2 on Kemp. Duffy gave up 1 run in 6 innings, and then Crow faced 3 and retired 3 in the 7th. Shallow center, and Kane makes a play. 2 down.
I was wondering on a ball hit that slowly up the middle, why Escobar wasn't down that line and making that play at first. I wondered if he slipped, but let's take a look at it. He's got his eye on the ball, and he's watching the ball, which you really want to just concentrate on going to first base. Kershaw got out of the way of that. Escobar was going.
Yeah, I'm like you. I thought when that ball got by the mound and when it got over second base that Rojas's throw was going to be late.
Yeah. Well, we just showed you it looked like the effort was there.
One and 1 on Puig. He had an infield single in the first inning. He's 1 for 3, and that single put an end to an 0 for 10. Although last night, while going 0 for 4, 3 of those outs were lined to the outfield, resulting in Gerard Dyson's defensive play of the game, slamming into the wall in center field. 99 miles an hour, 1 and 2.
Yeah, that ball had some giddy up on it.
Impressive. Kelvin Herrera blows away Yasiel Puig. 3 up, 3 down for Herrera in the 8th.
Woohoo! That ball was blown right by him.
Brought to you by Chrysler, imported from Detroit. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price every day. Big crowd tonight, 28,302 on a T-shirt Tuesday and a marquee pitching matchup. 7,500 tickets were sold today.
Outstanding turnout by the fans. Way to go. This is not over. Almost tied it by just a quarter of an inch. If that kicks off a Kershaw, they get a run. Find a way.
Lorenzo Cain is 0 for 3. However, in his last at bat, he lined out to right field. Cain, Hosmer, Butler in the bottom of the 8th. Hitters will tell you that a curveball like Kershaw's that has so much overspin that for about 3/4 of the way, it looks like it's just going to hang up there, and then it seems to accelerate as it breaks down. Just explodes to the ground.
It does. With that spin and the gravity, it drops quickly. Takes a little velocity off.
Out of his hand, it just looks like a big rolling, tumbling curveball, but that's not exactly what it is. Three pitches and he strikes out Cain. That's the 3rd time that Lorenzo has struck out against Kershaw. One down in the 8th.
Mattingly has righties and lefties going in that bullpen out there.
Turner in the dirt. Gonzalez with a good play.
Turner, he didn't backhand that, he got in front of it. This is what you want to do. Position yourself where you can try to get in front of it. You can get your feet underneath you and make a better throw that way. Gonzalez helped him out. 2-time Gold Glove winner over there. He can dig it.
He's a nice player, Turner.
Better believe that. He plays. Doing a nice job at third. You can put him anywhere in the infield. These guys want to play behind Kershaw. Look at the groundouts.
And hoping to get a ball elevated that take a mistake and hit a home run. Hopefully the man ought to take the lead. The Royals have only had 2 flyouts. And that's low to Billy, ball 1.
4th time through. He won't get through every hitter. You got to make him pay.
That was pitch number 108, a season high for Kershaw. Van Slyke makes the play, and Clayton Kershaw, coming off a no-hitter, has pitched 8 scoreless innings at Kauffman Stadium tonight on just 6 hits. On the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite, and we knew this was going to be a big night on the mound tonight, and it was even before the game started.
Yep, told you memories are made every single day at a ballpark. But for Austin Sides, seeing his daddy for the first time in a year, unbelievable.
Boy, kudos to the Royals too for allowing that moment to happen, and a very creative way to do it, to put him in the uniform, put the catcher's gear on him. I mean, Austin, you could tell he had no idea. And there they are enjoying the game, and they were saluted in between innings earlier tonight and got a standing ovation from the 28,000 plus here tonight.
Thank you for your service, Major Robert Sides, and the memory for all of us.
Second inning for Kelvin Herrera. He only needed 11 pitches to get through the Dodgers in the 8th inning. He'll get Gonzalez, Van Slyke, and Ellis. Okay. 2-0. Way back in the first inning, with runners at first and third, Gonzalez hit a ground ball up the middle that was deflected by Danny Duffy, and that took away any chances for a double play. The Royals got a force at second base for the second out, but Turner scored from third, and that's all the offense. Look out, Hud.
Coming in
that
hot.
Almost get you.
Yeah, it's a good thing that screen was there. That right there is 100 mile an hour.
Hosmer hit a pitch like that in the first inning into left field for a base hit.
Gonzalez was saying, what was that? He barely even saw it.
Fox Sports Kansas City and the Royals welcome Kansas State fans to come to Kauffman Stadium on Sunday against the Angels. Buy a ticket through Royals.com/K-State. You'll get a Royals cap in K-State colors. So K-State Day, the second in our series of university days this summer. Strike to Scott Van Slyke. He was 0 for 3 tonight against Duffy with 2 strikeouts. Scott Van Slyke's dad, Andy, played 13 years in the big leagues. He was a 3-time All-Star. He won 5 consecutive Gold Gloves. He is now first base coach of the Mariners. And Scott's older brother, AJ, played baseball at KU. Van Slyke family lives in Ladue, which is just west of St. Louis, and in 2005 Scott Van Slyke was the Missouri High School Athlete of the Year, football, basketball, and baseball.
He's a big guy.
Late on the fastball. Herrera gets his second strikeout, and that's the first out of the 9th inning.
.6'5", 220. That's a big baseball player.
And now Herrera will get AJ Ellis, another Missouri boy, born in Cape Girardeau, and then went to high school in Kentucky.
You get Herrera pitching like he's pitching, you got Davis and Holland. That is quite a lot of power coming out of Ned's bullpen. And one of the reasons why they will finish the season, hopefully, in the hunt. Instant strikeouts.
Two and one. Royals in the bottom of the ninth have Alex Gordon, Salvador Perez, and Omar Infante. And it appears that they may not see Clayton Kershaw. Kershaw has thrown a season high 108 pitches. And Kenley Jansen, the Dodger closer, is not just loosening up in the bullpen, he is loosened up. Little high, 3-1.
He's as good as Holland, at least from a save standpoint. He's only blown 2. Big strong arm, fastball, slider. The Royals saw Fernando Rodney, and he shut down every one of them games with his 3 pitches he was using.
3-2. Tied him up, but Ellis fouls it away. Still 3 balls, 2 strikes. And that looks like the official done for the night, when you had teammates shaking his hand, patting him on the back. Good job.
Kershaw walked off down the steps, and his manager Mattingly met him with a handshake.
Still 3-2. Dodgers have not had a hit since the 4th inning. And now they do. Base hit into left field. They had plenty of runners since then, thanks to walks, including one in this inning. That's the 2nd hit for A.J. Ellis. And it puts 2 on with 1 out.
So Mattingly will send up Andre Ethier to pinch hit here for Romack.
Royals have a conference on the mound before Herrera pitches to Ethier. Ethier started in center field last night and was 0 for 4. He was the victim of one of Eric Hosmer's excellent plays on defense. 3 out of 7, 4 RBIs as a pinch hitter this year. 98 in for a strike. Oh, and 2. Gonzalez opened the inning with a walk. Van Slyke struck out, and then Ellis singled. Royals have still out-hit the Dodgers 6-5. Late on the fastball, still no balls, 2 strikes. Up the middle and into center field. Gonzalez rounds third, and the Dodgers pick up a big run in the 9th inning. The leadoff walk in the 9th inning turns into a run. Andre Ethier off the bench drives in his 5th of the year as a pinch hitter, and it's 2-0.
Little surprised to see Escobar not dive and knock that down. That's all you got to do is keep the ball in front of you. Save a run. Like he tried to make this play, and it's not going to be done. You just got to keep it from going in the outfield. Keep that guy from scoring. 2 had some topspin on it. Seemed like he tried to make the play. But all you got to do is knock it down.
And now Michael Marriott comes out of the bullpen. Dodgers have added a run in the 9th for a 2-0 lead. Comes off the bench and delivers a RBI single with 1 out in the 9th inning, and the first run has scored since the top of the 1st inning. And now Michael Marriott, who hasn't pitched in 8 days, comes out of the pen, and the Dodgers will make a move for him. Appearance number 14 for Marriott. And the Dodgers move is D. Gordon. He'll bat for Trienfeld. In for a strike, 0-1. D. Gordon at second base last night was 1 for 4 with a bunt single.
He's 2 for 3 off the bench.
0-2. Marriott 8 days ago got the final out in Detroit on Monday night. That was the first of 3 straight wins over the Tigers. Sal blocks it, can't find it, but the runners do not advance, and luckily for the Royals it was catcher A.J. Ellis at second base. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Salvi, one of the best doing that.
Two and two. Dee Gordon, the son of former Royals pitcher Tom Gordon. And Dee's younger brother Nick was taken in the first round this year's draft, 5th overall by the Minnesota Twins.
Be a shortstop. Is he a shortstop? I think the kid was, or is. So was Gordon. But talking with some Dodger coaches, they said that they're excited about him moving to second base. He's got a great future there. Nice range, speed. Listening to him and Dyson in the Hy-Vee Live Royals pregame show was really special. Goldberg did a nice job.
And the more I look at Dee Gordon, the more I can see his dad. And they looked so much alike. Now his dad, not very tall, just like Dee, but was more muscular. Dee strikes out. Dee very thin, and he's had a tough time putting on weight in his career. And I mean, look at that.
Well,
the flash.
That particular pitch there, he swung like his dad.
Look at that.
It's a proud pop there, no question. Marriott's got to like pitching in this prominent role here coming into a game like this. He's deserved it. He's pitched very well.
Miguel Rojas, he made a big play at second base in the bottom of the 8th inning. Royals had runners at first and third with 2 down, and it looked like Escobar was going to reach with an infield single when he got a ground ball past the mound, but Rojas ran over, was able to get to the ball, and with a strong arm for a second baseman, strong enough where he played third base last night and was able to get Escobar.
Yeah, when it didn't hit off of Kershaw, I was a little bit surprised it didn't clip off of him. Then I looked up to see him beat that ball out at first base, and he got it by a half a step. That was a super play.
Two and one.
Marriott's got all 4 pitches. His slider's his best pitch. 90 to 93.
Hosmer way off the line. Tough hop and gets it to Marriott for the out. Dodgers add a run. They turn the leadoff walk into a run. Coming up against Dodger closer Kenley Jansen, Alex Gordon, Salvador Perez, and Omar Infante. Herron will pitch for the Dodgers against James Shields, a couple of Southern California kids. Final game of the series. Dan Herron is 7-4 in his 15 starts. Royals saw him last year as a member of the Washington Nationals. They have seen him with the Angels. They've seen him with the Diamondbacks. They've seen him with the Oakland A's.
Yep, they got to like their chances tomorrow. They're going to have to see what they can do here in the 9th off of Jansen, but take the series against Herron. They got to score some runs off.
Knocked them around last year with the Nationals. Those are our Chrysler drives of the game. Rojas goes over to shortstop, and D. Gordon, who appeared as a pinch hitter in the 9th inning, he'll be at second base against big Kenley Jansen. And when I say big, I mean big. 6'5", 265.
He's got a fastball, 90 to 92, or excuse me, 95, and a slider. And I said earlier, it's comparable to Holland. He's not in Greg's league as far as numbers go. He's got a 4.26. Holland's twice lower than that. But they both have 22 saves.
Back to Jansen. Alex is 0 for 3 tonight, 1 down in the 9th inning. He's a real interesting story. He is from the island of Curacao, and he began his professional career as a catcher. In fact, he was the starting catcher for the Netherlands in the 2009 World Baseball Classic, but after struggling for 4 seasons in rookie ball, the Dodgers liked the arm. They put him on the mound, and now he's a big league closer. And you mentioned the slider. It is a very hard and tight slider. Has some cut action to it. Sometimes a comparison is made between Jansen's cutter and Mariano Rivera's cutter.
He doesn't have Holland's stuff. No way. Holland's mid to upper 90s. That fastball looks straight. There's some 94. Lefties are hitting 321 with a homer. Righties 217 with 2 homers.
Jansen has a loose, easy delivery. So that could make 95 look more like 98, 99. He doesn't look like he's muscling up at all.
No, and with that body, he didn't have to.
One ball, 2 strikes.
You know, with that size, he reminds me of a former teammate of mine, Lee Smith. Except Lee Smith had a nasty split finger.
2 down in the 9th inning. A couple of things on Kershaw, who is 1 out away from winning his 8th game. With 8 scoreless innings tonight, he has 21 consecutive scoreless innings, and he only walked 1. And the Dodgers, who have one of the best starting rotations in baseball, have now gone 28 consecutive games where their starter has walked 2 or less. They are 3 away from the major league record. 0-1 on Infante. There's one of the greatest Dodger pitchers of all time, and has the major league record. 59 consecutive scoreless innings back in 1988, passing Don Drysdale, who at the time was a broadcaster for the Dodgers, and it was his major league record, and that was one of those records many people thought would never be broken. And I remember being a Southern California kid when Hershiser broke the record in San Diego, and Don Drysdale came out of the booth in the middle of the game and was there to congratulate Orel Hershiser. Still 0-2. Just to put that into perspective, Hud, 59 consecutive scoreless innings. If he was pitching, let's say, complete games, then that would be like 6.5 consecutive shutouts.
That's amazing. That's on a roll. Of course, he'll tell you, though, a lot of those games were pitched at, what, 5 o'clock at night, too. So the shadows, he said, had played an effect in that. And he, he's a humble guy, but he said that it's hard for the hitters to see at Dodger Stadium at that time.
That same year, the Dodgers shocked the Oakland A's by winning the World Series. Remember, Kirk Gibson had that home run in Game 1 against Dennis Eckersley. Infante strikes out. And it was a great night on the mound for the Dodgers. All they needed was 2 runs. Clayton Kershaw, 8 scoreless innings with 8 strikeouts. Kenley Jansen with his 23rd save. The Dodgers even the series at 1 game apiece. Runs in the 1st and 9th innings. 2-0 Los Angeles. We'll be right back.